Ooh, it is the All Elite Wrap-Up. We are live. We're live, pal, right here Thursday night at, as we do every week, precisely 7:27 on the dot. Follow along at allelitewrapup.com for weekly updates on when we'll be going live and whatnot. Subscription is free. It's free. It's free. So, Tom, we're going to talk a lot about some wrestling. How excited are you for this week?
It was a really good one. You know, AEW went down to Tulsa, so it's good to see that they're doing a little bit of charity work, visiting, you know, the poor places of America. So that was great. And the episode was fun. Next week, program alert. Forgot to tell you this, so I'm going to tell it to you live because that's the benefit of a live episode. Not going to be here next week. I leave Tuesday for New Orleans, so I am gone Tuesday to the following Monday. So
this is part of the Tom World Tour, correct?
Yeah. Well, we're going on our anniversary, our first anniversary. We got married in 2020, but it's our first anniversary. There's a riddle for you.
For new listeners, Tom is talking about his wife and himself, not us. Not Tim.
I wish. Well, I mean, you said no, so
yeah, right. Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I had to go with this nice person over
go
here.
with this one then. Yeah, it's our first anniversary, but we got married in 2020, so there's some fun for you. Figure that one out.
Do the math. Do the math.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, we're going to go to New Orleans.
I don't know if anniversary is the correct term in that regard, but we get the idea, I think.
It is. It is the first anniversary of the day we got married.
Anniversary indicate yearly, though? So is this like a quad-anniversary, or how does that work?
Oh, well, now you're just semantics.
How does that work?
About,
yeah, that's what I know. That's what I said. Yeah. I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was like,
whatever. Whatever the fuck you're talking with your... Yeah,
it's awesome.
You know, yeah.
You and your smarts.
Yeah, you and your smarts. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good. Just got done having a good dinner. Had a burger with American cheese, because I like my cheese to stand for the flag. And enjoyed that. It's not a fun joke. I heard that the other day. That was funny.
It's a good one. Yeah.
And so yeah, just hanging out, loving life. We got some fan interaction, which I think we're gonna kick off the episode with. So excited to hear from our good friend Ash. So I want to hear that because I don't listen to that. I don't do any prep. I just say what stream of conscience. That's all
Correct.
This is.
I try to do as minimal prep as I can. I do have to verify that like what they sent is not, something we can't play live right here as we are each week. Reminder, follow along at allelitewrapup.com. That'll give you all the links you need to our threads, to the podcast links, all of that kind of stuff there right now. Speaking of threads, you can contact the show, talk to us on threads, use add us or something, and just ask us a question or tell us a thought or something. We'll discuss it right here on the show. Alternately, you can send us an email to aewrapup@gmail.com. And when I say send us an email, you can send us an email that you type out. You can send us a clip of yourself talking, or even a video, right? Send it to us. We'll play it on the show here. Again, we're going to do a little bit of screening, so watch what you're sending there. And then we've never had a problem with Ash Hendricks, right? Or anybody else yet, but I like to put out the disclaimer because I know you wrestling fans. So one thing that we got here in the All Elite Wrap-Up answering machine here from our good buddy Ash Hendricks has an intriguing question. I'm ready to play it. Tom, you ready to listen to it?
I am.
What's up, boys? It's me, obviously. I got a couple questions for you. To start with, I got 2 questions for T-Mac, MMA based. So let's start there. Right, first things first. Is Volt done? Or, because I feel like a rematch is going to go the same way, personally. And I'm not trying to see him fight no legacy fights because, he's got nothing left to prove at this point, so I don't quite understand. Anyway, and question number 2. Michael Chandler, still on McGregor's nutsack, looking like an idiot at Raw, face redder than a strawberry and all this nonsense. I don't get it. I don't get that either. Go away, Mike Chandler, you suck. Anyway, wrestling base for both of you. I'm watching Dynamite now as we speak. They just done the Deonna Purrazzo Tony Storm. Tony Storm's got a face full of lipstick. That's pretty fucking funny, but whatever. Anyway, what I don't understand is like, what do we do with Deonna Purrazzo after this? Because I'm safe. I feel like I'm safe in assuming that Tony Storm is going to win this weekend, and I'm happy for that because she's been killing it. But it just like doesn't that really make Deonna like waste Deonna's time really? Because it's like she's been booking to beat all these other women, but like no one really cares about the other women that she's beaten. The first match against someone that's worth wrestling, the champion, she's gonna lose, and it's so like, what's the point there? Like, I don't quite understand it because it's like you want her to be credible, but she's not really that credible by beating people that we don't give a shit about. And now she's going against the top dog there and not being good. So what's the point? What do you do next with her? It feels like they don't. I feel like they don't know. As just another example of not really knowing what to do with the girls there. But I just think it's a bit weird personally. I want to know what your opinions on that is as well. So, anyways, yeah, I got nothing else, man. You guys have a good show. Yeah, I'll see you next week.
Well, thanks. Of course, we will have a good show. We have nothing but... So, Tom, a lot of questions to unpack here, and a big thanks again to Ash Hendricks. Reminder, aewrapup@gmail.com. Send us something. We will talk about it. I've got a lot to say about this Deonna Purrazzo stuff and the AEW and their writing and their storylines, but he asked you a couple MMA questions, and I'll be very forthright here. I don't recognize either of the names he said. I don't know any of these people.
Michael Chandler was on Monday Night Raw, so if you watched,
I don't watch that show.
Which good, you know. Okay,
I did see some red-faced clown on social media that was on there that I guess I did see was from MMA. So that's Mike Chandler they're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, what did he have to say? What did he do?
Well, first off, Volkanovski lost his title. He's over the age of 35. I think as of right now, champions over the age of 35 are like 0-12 in title fights. So it doesn't really do well, especially when he goes up against especially if he goes up against a 27-year-old Ilya Topuria. I don't think Volkanovski is done as far as, like being a good elite fighter, but as far as like championship, he's I think he's in the just some fun fights, right? So like he could move up a division and go up against that guy that you've always thought would be cool. Kind of like what Max Holloway's doing at UFC 300, going to fight Justin Gaethje, similar to that.
So he's got plenty of money to make, is what you're saying.
Yeah. He could definitely still, he has some good paydays for his fighting style. And, you know, obviously he's an elite all-time type of fighter, so there are definitely good.
So he's
money
card padding, good card padding, as you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a good co-main event. You know what I mean? One of those things. Mm-hmm. For Michael Chandler, he's a fucking goof. Very good fighter, but also don't forget. And Ash, this is why I fucking hate the UFC. Very similar to WWE. It's such a marriage made in fucking bullshit that they're now under the same umbrella. This is the same fucking guy. Now I don't know if he said, "Hey, raise my hand, I'll be the one that speak," or if it was UFC going, "Hey, you've got this that checks the box, we'll have you talk." But Tim, since you don't know about it, I'll tell you. So it was February, month of February. And they get Michael Chandler to talk about his child. And he talks about how he adopted this child and how he's proud of this child, how they're raising him, and how he's excited for the future of that child. You know why? Because it was Black History Month and he adopted a black child. And I'm not saying you don't need to adopt black children. Adopt whoever you would like, assuming the situation is beneficial for all parties. But the idea that you would sit there during Black History Month, a white man, and be like, "Guess what I'm doing," is just so fucking tone deaf.
It's a very white savior mentality. Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. So that comes from like just his background of what he thinks of as far as the world. Now, he does look, he fucking sucked in that promo on Raw. I saw it, sucked ass. He was nervous, and I get it. When he does it in the UFC, it's pretty good. He's in a more comfortable state. He always does the "see you at the top." And I get it, right? He's on his way to the top, so you are too, kind of thing. It's not bad, but I think he's a fucking goof. And also, I do think he's wasting 2 years of his fucking career, 2 years plus, just waiting for Conor McGregor. Fun fact, at least I think it's a fact, I'll probably be proven wrong, but we'll see. I don't think Connor's ever fucking coming back. I think he's just fucking with you, Michael, because he doesn't like you and he's making you waste your career. Ha! He's doing Roadhouse while you're doing promos on Raw. So maybe shut the fuck up.
The little I know about MMA, I'll say that sounds like Conor McGregor that I know.
Well, he's now he's the main bad guy in the Roadhouse remake, and so like he's doing movies. Like he doesn't want to get punched in the face.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Did I see they're making Twister again? But this time it's Twisters.
Twisters, yeah.
But first off, it was the exact same stuff and dialogue that I saw in the trailer. Like it's just a reskin.
Yeah. So yes, 100%. And that's stupid. Remakes sometimes can be better. I will argue this: you never fucking remake a movie that starred Terry Funk. Terry Funk was in the original Roadhouse. You don't fucking get better than that. Okay?
Yeah. Now that Terry Funk's gone, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah, unless he was going to come back and be like the old head bad guy.
Look, I would have accepted Scott Hall as a substitute, but he's gone.
Yeah, but still, it's Terry Funk. You don't replace Terry Funk with anyone else.
Yeah, different role even. Scott Hall couldn't have fit that role as Terry Funk.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's dumb as fuck to even do. But anyhow, that goes there. Now, wrestling portion. I'll share mine because I've been gas bagging and I'll let you go on yours. I think... So I don't know if I necessarily think, and this actually brings up a good point, because I'm not here next week. I'll text you my AEW Revolution picks, because we got to do our picks, because you got to keep wearing that Jeff Jarrett shirt. But I would do, and I think the best option to do with Deonna Purrazzo, I have my hands next to me, shoo away everything, is... she loses to Toni Storm, because Toni Storm, you don't take the belt off her yet. But she loses because of a jealous Dr. Britt Baker DMD. And essentially, you start Deonna Purrazzo's whole AEW run with best friends betraying her, right? So Toni Storm has gone crazy and they had matching tattoos, but no longer does she recognize Deonna Purrazzo as a friend. And then Deonna Purrazzo is about to win the AEW Women's Champion, but Dr. Britt Baker DMD does not fucking want you to be the champion. She deserves to be the champion, so she cost her friend that championship. And there you go. Then you can have those two run off, do something. Then you get Toni Storm to maybe do the Mariah May angle, things like that. So that's where I would go. Now, if you just have her lose straight up, now you're in a sinking boat, because I don't know what the fuck you do from there.
Yeah. Hey, fun fact before I go on what I'm about to say here. Back to the Ash call, which we're still talking about, but he said Toni Storm, being she, was gonna win this weekend, but he's a little wrong. It's next weekend. Correct, that Revolution is, which brings us to an interesting conundrum, Tom. If you're not available next week, how are we doing picks?
That's what I said. I'm going to text it to you.
Out. Oh, you're going to text it me? Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, or did you say that? Did I miss that?
Yeah, I said it. Thanks for listening, Tim. Jeez.
Well, I'm over here. I'm pushing buttons.
Audience of one.
I'm taking notes. I'm working over here. Well, we're gonna have to work something out. We're gonna have to do something a little different, because you can't spoil me with your picks, right? Then I'll just beat you, because I'll know what you've got. All right, so Tom, Deonna Purrazzo, the individual thing that we do with Deonna Purrazzo after this, I think your suggestion is great, because it is the Dr. Britt Baker light versus Dr. Britt Baker, and they can kind of go that angle. Now, an idea that I have doesn't matter, and I'm going to tell you why, because they need an overhaul of how they do this, and Ash kind of hit it on the money there when he said it's kind of let me down on how they handle things, paraphrasing here, with the women in general. It's not just the women, unfortunately, especially as of late with AEW. They don't really have a lot of good oversight of where these stories are going, who's supposed to be featured, and what's the purpose of a lot of these characters, right? And how those interact. You got to start looking top down and kind of map these things out. So one, Deonna Purrazzo doesn't have an identifiable character that's outside of a couple others, like you said. So I would turn her more into not full Eddie Kingston, but more of that like All American Girl, but the New York version of All American. You get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So we're a little more like, yeah, she's one of us, right? So that means a little less, I'm a star with all the things, right? That's not to say you're not proud of yourself and you come out and you pose and whatnot, but I would change that up a little detail. They have some good nuggets. They were hitting things kind of right with this. The friendship angle is great, right? You're my friend, but now we lost touch or whatever, you screwed me over, and now I'm coming to get you and bring you down, is great. And it worked great here because both of them actually had a legit friendship and they had the matching tattoos and it was all set up. But right now, Tony Storm is doing something wildly out of the realm of reality. So trying to fit the reality storyline into that didn't work, absent of the idea that like we're trying to snap her back into reality, right? Which we didn't do either, right? So work friendship angles apart from this Tony Storm thing right now, right? Like it just doesn't fit, right? That's why it kind of came off weird. Tony Storm made things work to the best of her ability because she's fucking awesome and quick on her feet, if you will. This here, like, think of if you watched Rampage, the stuff they're doing with Cool Hand and Ruby Soho, right? Start blending some of these characters with real life things. That's not to say make all of them relationships or anything like that, but these friendship angles, these relationship angles, groups trying to get one over on others and stabbing each other in the back, these are the kind of angles you need here. But they tried to do details of good storylines in one on this, and it didn't work. And that's because, again, nobody's mapping this out. They're not sitting down that I know of. It clearly comes across this way. I could be wrong. I don't see a writer's room going on, but there's nobody like with a spreadsheet or mapping this stuff down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, actually, now that you say that, I'm going to look this up because I want to be factually correct. But Tony Khan actually made an announcement. Let me try to find it real quick. Here we go. Tony Khan. Tony Khan. He announced that they have signed a new writer to the team. Her name is Jennifer Pepperman. Tim, are you still there?
Keep going.
Okay, there you go, because you froze on me. So
yeah.
Tony Khan said that they have hired a new writer by the name of Jennifer Pepperman. She is the new All Elite Vice President of Content. Apparently what her role will be is to give more oversight to the writer's room. So possibly they will be working on dotting those I's and crossing those T's as you're hoping. I definitely agree with you. One interesting bit of kind of contrasting
Recording
son
in progress.
of Ice Cube, who played Ice Cube in the NWA movie. He's also a huge pro wrestling fan. He mentioned that he doesn't understand when AEW introduces someone, why don't they give more background, right? The author of this article, Jonathan Snowden, argues that wrestling stories are best told in the ring. And while I agree with that, where the timeless stories that will, live on forever is a match that you could put on any day of the week to any person and they would get exactly what the story is and exactly what's going on. However, we're not all doing that, right? We're not all saying this is sport. Obviously, case in point, Tony Storm. So I think I lean again more towards you, actually 100% lean more towards you, that if you're going to tell stories, you need to have vision. And obviously there's always room and grace, I think, from adults who understand the pivot of an injury, right? We're going down this road. We've got this pay-per-view match between wrestler A and wrestler B, and it's going to happen in 3 weeks. And then wrestler B rips his ACL. Well, okay, right? Or in the case of CM Punk getting fired, Ricky Starks needs to wrestle someone. So it's Bryan Danielson. You know what I mean? So obviously those things we can take a little bit of exception to and honestly give grace to them. But to your point, when you're saying they're best friends, but it's like, well, she thinks she's a 1920s movie star. The fuck does she like? Unless you are gonna snap her out of it, right? Unless that's the payoff, where she gets body slammed or whatever it is, and she goes, "Oh, put a fucking black thing under my eye, and I'm back to being Tony Storm." I don't know really what the payoff is unless she loses. Like, and I don't think she should lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and we'll deal with that when we get to the picks next week on how if and when that happens. But no, yeah, I'm upset that they don't have more measured approach to this is a character. This character's goal is this. They will be doing this. They clearly don't have a plan for like this person's champion and we have this person lined up next for this thing with this storyline, and that's
well, they do
writing.
sometimes.
Just sometimes, But I think some of the best stories we've gotten in AEW, I said, as sad as it sounds, a lot of them centered around MJF, and that makes me think MJF was guiding a lot of that.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you also can't ignore Hangman's redemption story from
that is true.
Being tag champion to the
really
champion.
done well. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we don't need to go down the whole laundry list if there is that, but like Orange Cassidy going from he's gonna try to you can't get him out of a match, right? Like that's been decent storytelling as well. The
Dark Order stuff was going good until the unfortunate passing of. Brody
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I week to week though, I definitely understand more of what you're saying. Where it's like, okay, well, wait a minute, what the fuck? Why would this person care? In the example of Tony Storm, because she doesn't even understand that she's in 2024. She thinks she's in 1923. You know what I mean? So, exactly. I do think, and maybe this new hire who I've never heard of before, but apparently is coming with a lot of fanfare, will be the person that dots the I's, crosses the T's, like I said.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
It's, hires behind the camera, and we're getting one of those.
Only hires behind the camera, and I understand we're already gonna get big business, which the open secret is Mercedes Moné, but I don't think you fucking need it. I don't know. I mean, we'll get to that when it happens.
Again, absent of a good storyline, I won't give a shit what she does, right? She could come in doing all the cool things. If there's not a reason for her to be there to do it, I don't really care. Right? So again, we'll talk about that in the weeks and months to come.
Yeah, I don't really care that she's there.
But I mentioned Rampage. Mm-hmm. And I don't watch Rampages regularly, I think as you do. Mm-hmm. And man, I got to talk about this promo, this backstage promo between, it was Moxley and Claudio. And I don't know what happened here. I feel like on Rampage, they let these folks really go. There's no script. There's no whatever, right? And I think we had some improv gone awry or Claudio forgetting his lines. because it starts great. Moxley's leaning in. He was like, I know what this guy's thinking, and he knows what I'm thinking. He goes, Claudio, what am I thinking right now? And I don't know if Claudio heard what am I thinking about right now, because he said, what am I thinking about right now? And his answer was,
your wife's glutes.
And it froze Moxley. I don't know if he was trying not to laugh or if he was like, what in the fuck did this guy just say to me? Because he froze for, 5 seconds. And he just stared with the most shocked look on his face. And even was like, and what else? And then Claudio goes into and then we talked about, and what he came up with was actually decent, right? Where he said I don't have to tell people I'm the greatest and I'm 5-star and I'm whatever. We just don't do it. And he's like, we don't have to do any of that shit. And then Moxley summed it up great with this. He was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. All right. And he was like, good answer, bye. But God damn it, I watched that back 15 times or so because that shit was hilarious to see that go through.
Yeah, there was a long pause, though. There was a long pause in between him saying that line and then the next line coming out.
If you've never watched Rampage, if you don't watch it regularly or whatever, get your hands on Friday's Rampage just to see this backstage promo. Because that long pause is some of the best stuff.
Your wife's glutes.
Love it.
Loved it. Love it.
Hey, so let's talk about last night's AEW Dynamite. Like I said, it was from Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's a place in America. And it kicked off with Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli, as mentioned, and Jon Moxley taking on FTR. And we get a knockdown, drag-out fight that, Tim, ends in a draw. And to the best of my knowledge, again, we don't fact check, I believe that's the first time limit draw in a tag team match in AEW history. We've had singles time limit draws, but I don't think we've had a tag.
Might be. And by the way, if you're watching us live, feel free to join in the chat. And if you're listening back to us later on the podcast, shame on you. You should be watching us live so you could join in on the conversation. We love you, but shame on you. Tom, I used to live in Oklahoma City for 3 years. And
that explains a lot.
And so I was there with, stationed down there in the military. And, they were like, oh, welcome to Oklahoma. And I was like, thanks, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, so what do we do around here, right? And then we start talking. They're like, oh, and they're like, oh, you could go visit Tulsa. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of this place. Get out of here. Yeah. I think this match is what we expected, right? We expected some hard hitting, some face punching, some shit talking, some bloodied up fellas, right?
Yeah, Tulsa, first off, though. Home of the two-tone car, the color of your car, and dirt. So that's what you got in Tulsa. But this was fun, right? I mean, am I lying? You were there. A lot of dirt.
Even the name sounds like you're repulsing some, like Tulsa.
It's fucking Tulsa.
You're like, anyway, I'm going to tell Tulsa. All right. Hey, anybody listening to Tulsa, we love you.
Do we? Nah, probably not.
But maybe you should get out of Tulsa.
Yeah, move to Kansas City. We're winning Super Bowls.
Hey, listen,
it's fun.
Take the one bus out of Tulsa that comes around once a week and get out of there.
Yeah. Look, hey, we're winning. Look at this. We're winning Super Bowls. Look at that. Newest one coming up on the wall.
When does Tulsa's NFL team play in the Super Bowl?
About the same time as their fucking baseball team. They ain't got either. But this one was a good one. Ends in a draw. They do here's where AEW does need a little bit of help, I think. The pull aparts. I get it. It seems like we're all, the joke is it's all friends wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
And I know that things have happened where, for example, Jon Moxley legitimately knocked out Hangman Adam Page, but that was an accident and things of that nature. But if you're going to do a pull apart, man, this is the most real it has to be, right? I'm not saying I want dangerous things, but I can't have you.
Here's how you sell that, right? You need to sell this to the fellas that like, all right, you half are going to be holding this person. You half are going to be holding this person. And this guy gets a fat bonus check if he gets to the other guy, right? Like legitimately, you better hold him back. You know what I mean? Like hold his ass back and you get the bonus checks. Or if he gets to him, he gets all your bonus checks. You know what I mean? Like let's hold him back, right?
Well, one of the stories that is in the, long history of the Spanish announce table, if you recall, was when the Regal twins told us about when they played security guards and there was a pull apart between Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. And before the show even started, they did the whole, hey, this is what we're going to do at this time mark. And this is what we're going to do at this time mark. And then, I know he's very controversial right now, deservingly so, but Brock Lesnar said to the group of security guards, which was just local wrestlers, he said, this is the last time me and him are going to stand next to each other. After we leave this meeting, we are going to hate each other. So you better act according. And Undertaker was like, we're not joking. Like, if you think that this is going to be a play fight, you're going to get hurt. And to their credit, I mean, not to their credit, but apparently one of the local wrestlers got a fucking black eye because Brock Lesnar was trying to get through, and Brock Lesnar punched the fucking guy. And then if you recall, when Jeremy Wyatt was playing a cop, Jeremy Wyatt, when they arrested Brock Lesnar, Jeremy Wyatt put his hand on Brock Lesnar. He's like, "Don't touch me." And Jeremy was like, "Oh shit." You know what I mean?
Got it, sir. Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Again, do not, I am never calling, because one thing also that I don't understand about Japanese pro wrestling is like, look at the kicks of that guy. It's like the other person's letting him. It's not fucking cool if I can unload 100% kick on your chest. That's fucking
Yeah.
easy. Anyone can do that.
Here's what I'll say
hold
about
on.
that, right?
Well,
Yeah.
well, what I'm going to say is, but when you're saying it's a pull apart and everyone needs to come down to separate it, that's when it has to look the realest possible.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's on the wrestlers. You guys got to make this look like a real fight. Now, I get, if it's dangerous to say we're going to go out there and really fight, even though we don't have something to fight, right? But like, you can still do things that are physically intense, right? You can still shove, body check, don't hit him right in the nose, right? Like, go for the body, these kinds of things where it'll look like a real fight. And again, you give these guys some incentive to legitimately pull these dudes apart. One of you is not here next week if, if these guys get to each other, that kind of thing. Make this look real,
Well, I think that was what Undertaker and Brock Lesnar were kind of alluding to with the local pro wrestlers. Is like, you want a spot on the card the next time we come to town, you better not fuck this up. You know what I mean? So I do think there's something to that. So anyhow, there was a pull apart. It wasn't great necessarily, but it happened. Then we go backstage and Renee Paquette is with Orange Cassidy. And here's another thing that doesn't make any fucking sense, Tim. So we're backstage. It's Renee, it's Orange Cassidy, and it's the, I guess, head doctor. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm assuming head doctor, right?
Yeah.
And Renee talks about, hey, Rocky Romero was taken out by Undisputed Kingdom. Chuck was taken out. Then Trent was taken out. Hell, you're going through just this gauntlet of matches. Trent can't wrestle tonight, but you say you're going to. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to. And then Renee looks to the doctor and the doctor goes, he meets the minimum requirements to compete. And then Orange Cassidy's like, well, then I'm going to compete. So, Tim.
Yeah.
This makes no fucking sense. So Tony Khan is just some fucking maniac, horrible booker that's like presses spam on the Excel spreadsheet that just puts Orange Cassidy in every fucking match every week. Like, then just cancel the match. We obviously have enough talent backstage that we could just do something else.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's one thing to say like, well, he barely meets the qualifications, but he does meet the qualifications. But then there could still somebody oversight and be like, well, listen, we're still going to pause and wait on that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I didn't like that either. I know it sounds like we're talking out of both sides of our mouth when we say put more stuff in storylines, give us more backstage things in that regard, and then shit on something where they attempt to do that. But some of it's in the attempt here, in that I don't need a doctor intervention on my screen for a thing that's happening this week and nothing else. You know what I mean? Like, if the storyline for the long arc is somebody's injury, okay, we can see a doctor a couple times, I guess, right? But this feels odd and just like filler, right?
Well, it just makes the promoter look like an asshole. And again, we're not doing evil Vince McMahon makes his wrestlers, dance when he says dance, right?
Is there any other Vince McMahon than evil?
Well, you get what I'm saying. So, so then you change the story, put it to where Orange Cassidy gets cleared by a doctor to compete in a future match, right? He could just be back there. Renee's like, hey, you've gone through all these matches. How are you holding up? Well, Dr. McGillicuddy over here, or whatever the fuck his name is, fucking cleared me. I guess I'm cool to go. And then the Undisputed Kingdom would go, bet you won't go tonight. Bet you won't fight tonight. And then Orange Cassidy's like, oh, you don't think I fucking will? See you out there in 10 minutes. Then it looks like the Undisputed Kingdom
Right.
got him out there instead of the fucking promoter. Like, make it make sense. I hate that saying that, but like, you know
so
what I
here we
mean?
go. Okay. So like, all right, so we see Orange Cassidy backstage with the promoter, and he's like, all right, so I'm good to go for Revolution. And he's
Yeah.
like, yes. He's like, oh yes, you're good to go for Revolution. He's like, good. And he's like, you will be this time next week. And he'll be like, all right, cool. So I'll be cleared next week. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh shit, I forgot. I'm not here next week. And then Orange Cassidy's like, well, then just clear me now. And he's like, I can't do that. And he's like, it'll have to be after Revolution when I'm back or whatever. And he's like, no, I got to make Revolution. Clear me now. You said next week I'll be fine. Just clear me now. It'll be fine. He's like, fine, right? And he clears him and he hands him the paper. He's like, all right. And then in walks your situation, right? They're like, you weak puss. You won't go tonight. And he'll be like, well, I'm cleared. And they'll be like, uh-huh. And then, oops, now he gets injured again, right? Because he wasn't cleared.
Yeah, but then you're kind of
cleared.
making Tony Khan look like a fucking pushover, which maybe he is. But like, you know what I mean?
Or we should fire that doctor then at that point. Yeah. True that.
But yeah, so anyhow, so he says he's
it's wrestling. Right? Video evidence never exists once it, you know what I mean? Once it happens. And only if we show you live when you're in the ring looking at it. Nobody else sees it. You didn't see it from before.
Always the case.
It's the only window of opportunity you can know what happened.
I mean, duh. That's the only time I know, right? All right, so we're staying backstage. FTR is back there, and they say, hey, we still want to fight. We still want this acronym battle, right? We want
because
FTR
this was
versus BCC in AEW. And so we want to fight those Blackpool Combat Club guys. And then they're like, we don't have anything to do with Revolution, so let's, and then the match doesn't even really get announced. And then here goes Blackpool Combat Club. And again, if you want to fucking fight, I'm supposed to think John Moxley is being held back by a 52-year-old referee. Come on.
Exactly.
Or just be like, I can't touch you because if I touch them, I'm fired. So fuck you. Again,
so there's that.
If
you're going to have one, like that's what let me hear the official telling him, you know, you get fined 100,000 if I get fucked. You know, you get fined 100,000. You better back up. You know, if you, once again, I know in wrestling, in spots, we need the referees to be, you know, unawares, right? To have missed things, to kind of, you know, play the fool. But they need to hold some power and authority. So when they are awares, they ought to be able to hold some fucking power over these people. Otherwise, they would never be respected by the wrestlers, right?
Right. Yeah. They never just push you out of the way. Yeah. And so, again, it's fine. Little details, but that's where we're kind of wanting the next level of AEW to go, right? We got a great 4-year start or however long it's been. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
But now let's
fine tune that
much
up.
is expected of you, right? You set a bar. You got to meet that bar now.
And this isn't too, I know it may sound as though like, oh, geez, man, you know, shit talking everything. But like, it's not to say that, well, of course, BCC versus FTR is good, right? Well, we just saw it. You know, we're going to see it again, right? But like, that alone isn't enough is what we're trying to say, to carry you on. It's just a match otherwise. Well, we just saw the match, right? I need a storyline to tell me. And if you're telling me that storyline, it's hard for me to buy in without these little details.
Yeah. 100% agree. All right, so let's get back into the ring. Orange Cassidy versus Mike Bennett. This was fun. The thing I like the most about it is, did you catch what the low blow is called? So Mike Bennett hits Orange Cassidy right in the dick, and he calls it the 5-on-2.
Yeah. Isn't that great? Yeah.
That's almost a great name.
It's almost as good as the Kansas City Comp Punt.
Yeah.
The ovarian delight. This was set up again to fluff Orange Cassidy, right? He's going to work over Bennett, and it worked very effectively. And we got some golden stuff with Taz, of course, throughout this match and stuff. But the ending, as we'll get into, started to make sense, but then took a sharp turn. Real sharp turn.
So Orange Cassidy defeats Mike Bennett, as we mentioned. Then the Undisputed Kingdom come down after the bell, and they're beating up on Orange Cassidy. And Orange Cassidy has no friends. Chuck's gone. Rocky Romero's gone. Trent's gone. Women, I guess, can't help. So why would Chris Statlander come down, or whatever? So then for the save, Jake Hager, Orange Cassidy's dad, running down, making the save. What the fuck is up with that?
Who we've never have these two. I think they may have interacted at some point, right? But like, they haven't been teammates, haven't been friends, they haven't been.
No. Well, remember Orange Cassidy feuded with Chris Jericho, so that's how they've bumped into each other and things like that. But yeah, as far as
they've never been friends.
We've had right. And
hear me out. Seeing Jake Hager, it did make me think. If we didn't do this, we could have worked in Jake Hager as the reverse of the mini-me, right, of Orange Cassidy, right? Let's dress him up like Orange Cassidy, give him the, again, perfect lines, whatever, right? Like, he can do that fine, right? Well, you give him one or two lines, just have him, and like have him be a copycat.
Tim, we're not saying, look, we still got that chance. After Revolution.
Oh, we can still get there. Yeah, we can still get there. Again, they're friends now, so maybe that's how we get there.
Yeah, so
what do we call him? What do we call? He's just still Jake Hager, but he's just dressed up as and just acting like Orange Cassidy. But instead of freshly squeezed, can we come up with something cool?
Yeah.
This has a chance to be the coolest Jake Hager thing ever done.
Easily. Yeah, you could just call him Jake, and they're like, what happened to Hager? He's like, it's too much for me to say. I don't want to say it all. Like it's just, I'm just
call him Hager.
Jake. Yeah, Hager. Yeah. Well, aren't you? Yeah. You know how many Jakes there are? I don't like saying my name. It's too many people around. All right. Hey, we go backstage.
No, that's it. He's just Jake Hay. He's like Jake Hay, and they'd be like, why Hager? I'd be like, I don't want to say it. It's too much work. Jake Hay.
All right. So we're backstage, and Tim, I tell you what, The Rock, taking a quick side quest here. The Rock.
It's on AEW.
No, but it has a tie-in to the person who would show up. The Rock on Twitter announced that $7 Production and some director are going to do a biopic about Ric Flair, which one has been done by fucking everyone. Pick someone new. And two, friends, the last biopic of any sort that we did on Ric Flair wasn't great for him. The plane ride
did we forget that in AEW? Like, what happened here that...
Now, from peeking behind the curtain, which we don't like to do, but from peeking behind the curtain, what has been reported, right here I am, reported, is that Sting was very adamant of, hey, I know he may not be everyone's best friend, but he's the guy that helped me get to this point. I want him a part of my last match. And Tony Khan, for better or for worse, was like, you can have anything you want. So Ric Flair, and then Ric Flair's energy drink was like, we'll sign on. So, hey, we'll make $1 too. So I think that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's how that came about. But also, did you see the Kevin Nash thing, which we can...
Yeah, which Kevin Nash was like, I can't do that because Ric Flair can. Ric Flair can, he's bigger. No offense.
But it's still weird. Nash. They won't let him they won't let Kevin Nash be in the thing because Kevin Nash tied to WWE and they don't want him seen on their TV. But does the average person know Kevin Nash was actually tied to WWE contractually in some way still? Like,
at that point, right? Yeah. But
I didn't know that till I read that now. Like, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And why does it matter? I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't either. But to get to kind of finishing up my point about The Rock here is it's a little bit overdone. Ric Flair's an overdone story. I don't know what new ground we're going to cover. And then
we've said everything.
Again.
Did you know he was in a plane crash?
Well, did you know maybe it's not going to be a fun story that anyone's really going to love? So like Rock. And I'm not saying, hey, anyone that has any dirt, stay 1,000,000 feet away from them. But like, it's been overdone and it's not that great. So what the fuck?
Well,
And
because
this
it's going
goes
to make
again.
money. They don't care if it's good.
Well,
It's just, will it make money?
will it? I don't know. But here's the other thing. I
Probably.
saw Rock's promo on Twitter about him going to he's not going to be at the Australia pay-per-view, you know?
Hmm.
But he refers to Cody and his girlfriend Seth Rollins. We're doing gay jokes in 2024, Rock. That's what he kept saying. Cody and his girlfriend Seth Rollins. That's not fucking and I get you're supposed to be the bad guy, but that's not even fucking like good bad guy lines. Like that's the
Yeah.
laziest 1997 line I've heard. You know what I mean? Like
Again,
fucking
if it were a choice of saying like, well, I'm going to say that because I'm a bad guy and I want people to boo me, but that would be saying your character is homophobic, right? Like that would be saying that. And The Rock's character is just The Rock with a bad attitude, right? It's Dwayne Johnson with a bad attitude. Those two have been married both on screen and off. That like we're not saying that's a from the curtain. No, Dwayne The Rock Johnson exists in both realms. You know what I mean?
That's
so
what
that's
I'm
an
saying.
interesting move to pull. I didn't see any of this.
Man, it was bullshit. But let's get back to AEW. So a car pulls up. Before this, though, actually, I forgot this in my notes. Before this, Renee Paquette is with Cool Hand Ange, and she's like, "Hey, you got a date?" And he's like, "I do." And then here comes Ruby Soho, and she's like, "You ready for the date?" And he's like, "I sure am." And then here comes this SUV, and she's like, "Is that all right?" And he's like, "I got us a lift." No, look, it's a first date. Fuck off.
Well, no, I love that she was like, yeah, totally cool. I love that he wasn't even that intimidated. He was like that. No, he's like, I got a lift. Is that all right? Like, it's like
and good on her to not say no, right? Like,
yeah, she was like, no, great, fine, yeah.
Great. So credit to Ruby Soho.
Yeah.
But then out comes Ric Flair, and Ric Flair walks up, and Renee Paquette's like, "Hey, Rick, you haven't been around in a while. What's up? How you feeling?" And then he just goes on the biggest woe is me. I haven't been used like I want to be used. And this brother, no one fucking really wants you a part of this except for Sting. But like, that's it. Okay. That's it. And so then he goes, "Oh, so I'm going to explore my options." And then he walks 5 feet, knocks on the door of the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks let him in. I don't give two fucks about.
Well, he's going to heel out and side with the Young Bucks and make it look like Sting's
until he's not, and he low blows the Young Bucks and ha ha.
Yeah, this was all a plan from Sting and the dirtiest player in the game to begin with.
Yeah,
we just fucking booked all of it.
Yeah,
we just booked it right there. Yep, like you guys thought you teamed up with the dirtiest player in the game, but you should have recognized the dirtiest player in the game just played you.
Mm-hmm. Woo! And then who gives a shit?
Yeah, to put Sting out, right off into the sunset, and then they make it on the way out. Anyway.
Well, no, they'll still lose, but that'll be the hope spot for Sting, right? Sting will take 17 super kicks. Ric Flair, like, let me in at him one time, and he'll do his fucking, I'm
you know what it should be?
And then
you know what it should
blows
be?
both of them. And
here's what it should be. I got it. So Ric Flair's doing this. He's going to heel out. It's going to put Sting in peril, right? We're going to lead into like Sting's being double crossed by Ric Flair, and he's helping the Young Bucks. And, we think Sting's at his worst. And then the Young Bucks are like, fuck this old man. And they just start fucking with him anyway. And they get him in a figure 4. And now old man Ric Flair's over there. And now he needs help. And Sting's like, you were just fucking screwing me over. I'm going to help you. But Sting helps him anyway because he's a fucking good guy and he helps him out. And then they fucking cold cock Sting and then
who? Ric Flair?
No, the Young Bucks. And they're just like,
I thought you meant that they all did. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Look, that's a lot of fucking thing for Ric Flair to do. He's barely able to walk.
True. He might actually die if they do that.
Yeah, I think he does.
Good idea, but bad person to carry it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he drops to a knee, 2 low blows. Yeah.
Yeah.
And gets out of there.
He drops his sport coat.
Yeah, who cares?
Breaks his knee in the process.
I'm not hating on the character of Ric Flair. The character of Ric Flair is fine and great because again, we can separate art from the person. But even the character right now is kind of bullshit. But that's just my opinion. So hey, then we go in the ring, but we're not ready for action. We're ready for an interview segment. Tony Schiavone's in the ring and he says, Daniel Garcia, come on down. He does his little dance. And apparently, Adam Copeland can't continue or can't make it to the pay-per-view. They had a DQ finish because of the patriarchy. And so it looks like Daniel Garcia now has a date with Christian Cage at AEW Revolution, which then brings out the patriarchy. And Tim, wouldn't you fucking know it, Daniel Garcia's dad is dead. I mean, does this have to be a prerequisite to fucking feud with Christian?
I hope so. And it's so great that it works every time. And he's just saying the same thing every time.
Yeah. Dad's a piece of shit, huh?
You have a dad, which everybody has a dad. And your dad is dead. And I'm going to be your dad. And it works every time as the loudest booze of the night.
Well,
and he's the best.
Although
I love it.
It's not starting to get booze. It's starting to get instant cheers and then booze, right? Like it's like, yeah, his dad is dead.
But you're an asshole for bringing it
up. Yeah.
Fucking love Christian Cage. He might be in one of my top 10 of all time, if not top 5. He's so fucking fun.
He's great right now as a heel. So he says, again, like you said, hey, your dad is dead, but I want to be your dad. And then Daniel Garcia, he does a good promo, kind of like kid from Buffalo, streets of Buffalo kind of thing. And he's like, you keep talking about my mom, you're going to end up next to my dad, which I thought was a cool line. Like,
good line. And then
the
Nick best part of this.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, then Nick Wayne goes down. He takes out Nick Wayne. Then here comes Luchasaurus Killswitch. And here's the kind of swerve for me. Matt Menard, wow, hits Luchasaurus Killswitch with a chair. And then he already had another chair. He was a smart babyface because he already had another chair ready. He slides that one to Garcia and he's like, I got one too. Come on, motherfuckers. And they're like, hey, we ain't going to get you. So they come off looking, badasses, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Man, a couple of things. One, to finish off the Christian thing, the best part of his delivery is that everybody knows what he's going to say. And he just stands up there and proudly is like, yeah, I know you know what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say it right now. His dad is dead. And everyone's like, you suck, don't say that. And I'm like, fuck you. His dad is dead. I love it. Anyway, yeah. The Matt Menard thing is great. We've been saying, like, what the fuck is Matt Menard is always on commentary but never helps this motherfucker. And I love me some Daddy Magic, and I'll always take more. But is 2.0 not a thing? Are they slowly drifting apart?
Well,
is Matt Menard just not a wrestler anymore? Is that where we're at? Can he? Yeah.
I kind of think, hey, or he's maybe dealing with something, peeking behind the curtain again. Maybe he has something going on, a leg injury, or whatever, back injury.
Yeah, bent dick or something.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Now, here's a question for you. Well, here's a question for you. So a wrestler
to the
X, left, whoever it is, right? Their dad is alive, but their mom is dead. Does Mama Wayne take the microphone and was like, hey,
I hear
you had a mom named
it's even
Cheryl
worse, isn't it?
Whatever. Yeah, there it is. I have a mom named Cheryl. I heard and then he can just take the mic and goes, and I heard she's dead. He can even say the line. And then she could be like, and I want to be your mother. Look,
like, I'll be your stepdad.
Well raised. Yeah. He's like, I could be, Then that
he could be like, I can be your stepdad because we know your father failed to protect your mother and keep her alive. Just boo. Yes.
That's a good, because again, eventually this is going to be like, motherfucker. Okay, is everyone's fucking dad dead? But then if we switch it up, I think that'd be a good little refresher. Again, I hope no one's mom is actually dead. Because one other thing, Tim, here's the other thing. And I don't want to know. I really don't. But if Daniel Garcia's dad is well and alive, fucking great. I don't need the myth ruined on me that he's actually fine.
That he's right. Yeah, tell me everybody's dad is dead. I don't give a
tell me everyone. Just for the story, it's fucking
the
great.
Problem is that you can never use that person's dad in a storyline ever again. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah,
right? But God damn it. I may have lost my train of thought at the moment, but we can continue on. This is fine.
Yeah, but because that's the thing is someone's like, I Googled, because they said some address, and like, I Googled the address and I was like, shut the fuck up. Really? Who cares? Stop ruining a fun story with your facts.
Oh,
Because fun fact,
remember,
his name isn't Christian Cage, you dumb shit.
I do remember what I was thinking of that got me laughing hilariously. So you said it's a prerequisite that dad has to be dead. I want to see some backstage footage of like they're hosting like this all hands meeting, and Christian's like, fucking ask it. And Tony Khan's like, I don't want to ask that. And he's like, you fucking ask it. And he's like, all right, can I see with a show of hands whose father is dead? Everybody's like looking around, fucking raising their hands. Christian's like, that guy, write that down, write him down. Like, ooh, write her down. That's a good one too. Fucking please. Oh, that would be so great.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be awesome. All right, so we get that, and then then we go backstage. We actually had more backstage than I thought upon further review. But Renee Paquette is backstage with Hangman Adam Page, Hook, and Rob Van Dam. Did you catch RVD was like, hey, Hangman, you stole something from Prince Nana, but you ain't got anything to share with me. And Hangman's like, don't fucking worry about it, And then Hangman does we're in this to get rid of Swerve. And he's just completely like wide-eyed and just like, we don't care about anyone else. It's Swerve. You know what I mean?
It's because he stole his weed. Right. I still love that line. And I'm going to steal your weed. And
why not?
The best line out is because Nana sold that soul. He's like, no, you're not. No, you're not going to do that. Like, that set him off. He's like, I've had enough of this.
This is bullshit. Yeah. So yeah, he says we're in this to beat up Swerve and nothing else. And so there you go. More of a mission statement from Hangman.
Yeah, we need it on the way out. We need like RVD to be like looking at Hook and be like, how's your dad? You know what I mean? Like we just need some interactions there with this. We need some hinting here.
Yeah. Then we do get in the ring, and we get Toni Storm defeats a lady. And she uses the break a leg, which I thought was great. To win.
Yeah, great line. Yeah, great name.
And then as soon as she wins, Deonna Purrazzo walks down and she does the blah, blah, blah. There was a really cool, again, black and white color split screen as one Toni Storm was going up and then Deonna Purrazzo was going down the ramp. So that was fun.
Yeah, they got a cool new filter for the.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. I think,
it
for
is.
Toni Storm, use it as much as you can until you don't, right? And then Deonna Purrazzo beats Madison Rayne, friend of the show, Madison Rayne. You know what? We're going to leave that in the Spanish announce table. No, we're leaving that in the Spanish announce table. We're moving on.
Madison Rayne. Now, the thing here is, again, you told me early on in the show she'll be facing Madison Rayne, her longtime mentor. Why didn't we get a backstage segment of her longtime mentor interacting with her and us figuring that out? And that would have made the match a little more interesting later, right? Like, because we haven't seen Madison Rayne in fucking whatever. Like, you told me, like, oh, she's her mentor. I'm like, oh, cool. But it's way cooler if I figure that out, right? Instead of you just telling me that.
Yeah, and going back to the earlier point, the counterpoint to the tell better stories thing is wrestling's best told in the ring. Well, I can't ever get that fucking story if you don't tell me that this was her mentor, and then tell me, because is it a mentor like Shawn Michaels was to Bryan Danielson, who Bryan Danielson was like, he was kind of there. It's really William Regal, right? Is it that kind of a mentor, or is it like, Daddy Magic and Daniel Garcia were, they referred to him as his son, right? So,
yeah, but why don't we get like Madison Rayne being like, why don't you step it up? You know what I mean? Be like, this ain't what I taught you. Like, you would have been beating that bitch's ass already. You know what I mean? Or something to be like, you got a problem with me? You know what I mean? Like, let's see it. Give me something.
Yeah, or just hey, I want to give you a great test before your pay-per-view match. I know.
So I'm going to give you everything I got.
Yeah, and I know what will get you to the next level. So let's go out there and have a good competition.
You could get a little Sly stuff, and she'll be like, oh, yeah, that'll be a good warm-up. And she'll be like, that'll be a nice, good, easy warm-up. And she'll be like, well, hold on. I didn't say easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And she'll be like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Well, then
we get some titty slaps.
I'll save my opinions of Madison Rain for another
Madison
day.
Rain?
Yeah, Madison Rain. Okay, so
Something with
Deanna
her feet?
Prazo beats her. No, well, I'm just saying, there's a reason I don't think she ever made it the big times. You know what I mean? Maybe some of that acting. But that's all I said. Deanna Prazo beat Madison Rain with the break a leg finisher. So there you go, stealing the finisher. What you can do, I can do better, kind of thing. And there we go. Oh, and then as Ash mentioned, Tony Storm runs down, throws the shoe, tries to lock in her finisher, but then they pull it out. And then Tony Storm just does this lipstick thing.
Yeah.
Like 700 swipes around the mouth. What was that about? I don't know what that was even about. Unless she's just crazy.
And we didn't have time for this because it happened in the same night. But if this would have been next week where Luther or let's say Mariah is showing her the footage of her using the stuff, we got to show the footage. And while we're all in black and white, the footage is in color, and have Tony Storm be like, "What is wrong with this TV?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like
hits it on the side.
Yeah, like it goes into black and white. She's like, "Better,
better. This is
now
way better." Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we got for our women's title match coming up at Revolution in about a little over a week. Then, Tim, we get a stylized promo, and honestly, and I hate to be prisoner of the moment, however, could be top 5 Sting promos of all time. And it's Darby and Sting, some, I guess, church warehouse. I don't know where the fuck they are. And Darby, to his credit,
they find a lot of
off.
abandoned places, don't they? They spend a lot of time.
Yeah. Not actually trying to work on the story, just trying to find places. I don't know. Kidding. This was actually good. Darby Allin.
I was thinking maybe doing heroin. I don't know.
Yeah. But Darby kicks it off and was like, hey, look at this picture of Sting. Sting and his sons. His sons in this picture are the same age as your sons, Bucks, as they are right now. You know what you did. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, essentially, you fucked up. And then Sting takes the photo and he's like, this is the first time in my career anyone's actually gone after my family. No one's ever hit my son.
All the sinister characters. None of them.
Now, I do think he may be fibbing a little bit. Now, I shouldn't say fibbing. I do believe this is the first time that Sting's sons have been attacked by wrestlers. However, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Kurt Angle and TNA went to one of Sting's son's soccer matches or soccer practices and was sitting
Sting was
in
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was like,
yes. Was that Kurt Angle? Somebody.
Yeah.
It was when
Kurt Angle.
They tracked Sting down and they were almost trying to goad Sting back around, and Sting didn't want to have anything to do with this. And he's
like, check out this. So, but again, this is the first time someone attacked him, so I will give him credit for that, right? So he wasn't lying essentially in storyline, right? But then he says, family means a lot to me, and then he's talked about how, when he was the Bucks age, he thought he was invincible. He could run through walls and conquer anything. He was untouchable. And now he's kind of ending his career. He's realizing, that's not the case. And his mortality is actually closer now than it's ever been. And he brings up the fact that his dad, which, side note, way to go to make it this long, had just passed in the last week, which he's 65. So I don't even know how old his dad is. Again, credit to you. And so now he has some competing motivations, both of which will not bode well for the Bucks. And he says this is his last match. He may not be good now, but on Saturday night, he's going to be giving it all that he has at the pay-per-view. And Bucks, you are fucked. Obviously, he doesn't say that, but I think it would be fun. But he says, you are fucked. What do you think of all this?
Same thing. Very well done, like mission statement for the moment that's happened, right? All felt very real, believable, right? Very, just honest, right? So I think they're doing well with what this is. I think when it became clear that this is what it was going to be, everybody was kind of like, huh?
I still kind of
like, it still feels, even looking at it from afar still feels like an odd choice, but at least they're pulling it off fine, right? I think things are going well with what they're doing.
Yeah, still the monkey wrench, I guess you could call it, or whatever it may be, is Darby Allin. I don't get, why do they hate Darby Allin? Wouldn't you think one of them would go on to face Sting one-on-one, right? Like they would do a rock, paper, scissors. One of the Bucks wins. That Buck gets to face Sting. Like
2-on-1. Sting's
yeah,
gonna
or
take out
challenge
the
them that.
goddamn
Yeah.
Young Bucks. Yeah.
I still think, and maybe I'm just patting myself on the back here, but I still think that like the best way to do this story to start off with, it can get to this point now, but the best way to start off with is the Bucks say, this is our company. No team's ever going to retire undefeated because we're the greatest tag team. How dare you think you're getting out of here without a loss on your record? We're putting that on your record before you get out of here. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, that's an easy way to start it.
You know what we do here. The Young Bucks, they brag about, they're like, we've got this in the bag because we have a secret weapon. And Sting's going to be like, idiots, like, I saw the footage. I know Ric Flair went to talk to you. Like, you don't think I know Ric Flair's lurking around the corner all times. You're like, you guys are idiots. And then we get to the event, and Ric Flair comes out, but Sting's ready for it. But he's ready for Ric Flair, and Darby Allin gives him the fucking what for. And then the fucking Young Bucks pin Sting, and Sting's left dying there, and Darby Allin's like fucking flipping the birds, and then we get a heel Darby Allin out of it.
I like that. I do like that. You know what I thought you were going to say, though? And then it's Lex Luger. I thought you were going to say Lex Luger, then Swerve
wheels
Sting.
himself down.
Is he in a wheelchair? I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
So,
Sorry.
yeah,
I didn't know. I thought he was walking.
I think so, yeah. Man,
Well, then
I think so,
yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Or Kevin Nash. Fuck it. Why not?
Well, you can still do it. Adam Cole's sitting in a chair this whole time.
Yeah. Well, but who's to say Kevin Nash isn't fucking lying and he is going to be a surprise? You know what I mean? Don't put it back.
Let's get the whole main event mafia to show up and just.
I was just going to say. Huh? Well, I was just going to say the NWO Wolfpack.
Booker T.
Well, I was going to say just do the NWO Wolfpack. Get Conan, get Lex Luger, get Kevin Nash, because Scott Hall wasn't in the Wolfpack. Get obviously Sting was in it, and then I think that was it, right? Disco Inferno, but fuck him, he doesn't really count. I think that was it. It's like 6 of them. Disco?
Yeah, I think so. He probably is now.
Okay. Yeah, fuck him.
She's not only ugly, she's fat.
I just wanted
to so let's talk. Let's talk about another impressive interview. Again, I did not realize how much talking we did, which I actually didn't hate.
A lot of extra segments, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wardlow, though, walks out, and this is the best promo he's ever done. Sounded natural, didn't give in to the what's, didn't sound like Mercedes Moné being formulaic, talk shit on everyone, was like, oh, the best in the world. I broke his ass, and he still hasn't recovered.
True.
Better than you, I beat him, and Samoa Joe, I beat him too. And it's like, God damn,
I will say,
very impressive.
It was the best as far as believability, and it did sound real. I will say, it didn't sound appealing, if I can say that, right? Like, I don't know if it was a combination of his voice and like, or something, but like,
you just don't like
him. Even though he's saying the right things.
Yeah, you just don't like him.
I don't know. I mean, also though, I don't think the timing on how he was saying what he was saying was always great, right? Like, I think there's still polish to work on, like how to hit.
Well, yeah, he's not Eddie Kingston, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like him. I mean, you don't like him either. But like,
well, here's my biggest criticism.
This was better than what he's produced prior to this. I will give you that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's my biggest criticism of him, and look, I get it. If you got big muscles, you might think you got the biggest muscles. But my friend, in the next segment, we did the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and 108-year-old Billy Gunn dwarfs you. So stop fucking saying you're the biggest and you're not. I can think of 10 guys right now in your own company. Heaven forbid you go to the other one, because then you're really going to look out of place, that are just dwarfing you. Powerhouse Hobbs, Keith Lee, Billy Gunn, Satnam Singh, like I can go down a laundry list of like, you're not big, brother. Like you do swantons. You have big traps, and that's about it. Okay? And I'm not trying to like body shame you. I'm just trying to say, stop fucking. It's not that impressive. It's not.
Yeah,
You're not that
your
impressive
local
of a
bar
looking
bouncer
person.
big. You're not pro wrestler
Yes,
big.
exactly. Yeah. If you were working at the Whiskey Tango, I'd be like, that's a big motherfucker. You go to pro wrestling where we've seen the Lex Lugers and, like I said, Billy Guns and, all the other Tony Nese, even though he's smaller, looks more physically impressive than you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, like,
Yeah, it's the same thing. If you
stop
went
that shit.
to local gymnasium and found the best fucking street baller we had, right? And then put him on an NBA court, he's going to look tiny as fuck and small and short, not know what he's doing. And that's kind of how this feels.
Yeah, and so that's my only main criticism is stop the I'm the biggest. No, you're not. You could say you're the best looking, right? That's objective. We can say, but if Powerhouse Hobbs 2 segments later, I can see he's fucking bigger than you.
He's
You know what
bigger
I
than you.
mean? Like, so stop that shit. That's the only thing I really have a criticism of him of is just that
Yeah, if
fucking
anything,
moniker.
the name is Wardlow. Let's ratchet up a violence and an intensity instead of like a big and a smoothness, right?
I did like his finishing line. Did you catch that? Where he goes, "This is no longer he goes, "This is no longer pro wrestling. This is war." I didn't hate that. I did not hate that. That was pretty good. That's a finisher.
Yeah,
That's
if
a one-liner.
he finally identified you're the target by saying this is war, like I can get behind that.
Yes.
He's Wardlow. Yeah.
Yes, and then that's different than
You
muscles.
can make shirts. You can make fucking all the things.
Yes, that is something I can get behind. But look at a big bicep. No, you fucking don't. You don't. You don't. So anyhow, he says that promo and he goes, "I'm the best." Cool. Then I don't know. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang has a new combination for a trios match. Neat. Then Don Callis, over 2, tries to explain this whole Takeshita and Will Ospreay match.
Yeah, 0 for 2.
I just
They didn't even make contact with any of these.
and it's Don Callis. You know what I mean? Like this guy doesn't suck at like coming up with things.
Yeah, but there's no reason here. Again, I think it can work in the match if we just objectively make Don Callis so annoying, like he's hyping up everything they do when it's minor stuff, right? Like they're just running the ropes and he's like, "Oh my god, this," like, and he's live on the mic, annoying everybody and they're booing the shit, and then somebody comes out and we cause a, you know what I mean, a new feud out of it. But if it ain't that, I don't know what this is. I don't want just an exhibition between these two heels. Even it feels weird.
Well, my guess, not to give away one of my picks, my guess is that the Don Callis family is going to turn on Ospreay, and then we're going to get babyface Ospreay, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because now
And
they're
so
going to make
let's-
Ospreay a big star, and he can't be buried in the...
Yeah. And so let's just say that's the end result, right? In my opinion, this is what you would do. You would say Don Callis goes on the microphone, whenever that was, and says, "Hey, at Revolution, Chris Jericho's out. We need a match for Takeshita. Our new assignee is a member of the Don Callis family, Will Ospreay. I don't trust that Will Ospreay will be taken care of here at AEW. So I'm going to take it upon myself. And I don't have any friends in this business, only my family. So in the first match, officially in AEW, it's going to be Will Ospreay versus Takeshita, because heaven forbid Will Ospreay gets injured by some of these degenerates like John Moxley and, name some other people, right? Okay.
Yeah, we know this will be square, fair competition on the up and up. Right.
Right. And then what you could do, what I would do is on Rampage, on Collision, and on Dynamite, just have little things of like, don't we all agree that Takeshita's dropkick's better than Ospreay? Don't we all agree that Takeshita has a better clothesline than Ospreay? Look, Ospreay's a great guy, but come on, it's Takeshita. And look, I'm picking up Ospreay, love him. Don Callis family
Ospreay
member.
was a phenom. He was great. But Takeshita's that new, you know what I mean? Now, you know what I mean? Now he's cresting. Now he's present day. And but the future is Takeshita.
Right.
Yeah.
But you just say little things. Not maybe that overt, but just little things of like, well, hey, look, if rocking a hard place, Takeshita's going to save my life before Will Ospreay. Like, what? Like, yeah, that's just how I feel, And then at the pay-per-view, they all fucking jump Ospreay. Oh, there you go. Big brain. Tim, I got
Yeah,
a
but
big fucking
now-
brain for pro wrestling. That's so
But
easy to do.
now we have to stop inviting any new members into the Don Callis family, right? Because what are we, 3 for 3 now on new members getting jumped out within weeks? Like, how don't we keep doing this to folks?
Well, Chris Jericho was different because I don't think he thought he was going to say yes, right? In storyline
Sure,
mode,
yeah.
I don't think Don Callis.
But we did this
he's
with
like,
Sammy Guevara, right? Didn't
well,
we?
fuck Sammy. Look, they keep talking about, Ricky Starks is going to go to WWE when his contract's up. I don't want that to happen. But take Sammy Guevara. Fucking take him. Nothing. That guy is 3-day-old milk to me. It was good at one point, but it ain't good now. I
don't know that it ever was, man.
well, when he was Jericho, when the Sex Gods, that was fun, and he was like Jericho's
yeah, but nothing
protege.
he did ever really, I felt was.
Well,
all
yeah,
that
but I'm saying he was good
worth
in
it.
proxy, right? But
Yeah,
he was good in
exactly. Yeah,
proxy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he ain't good anymore. All
But
right,
I feel
so
like
now
he
let's
could have
get-
been replaced by many other folks without us skipping a beat in many of these things.
You ain't lying. Let's get to the main event. Here is Brian Cage, Swerve Strickland, and Samoa Joe. We've always criticized WWE for this, so we have to do it for AEW. This is one of those rare times when it's like, why the fuck would they team together? Why?
Yeah, they're gonna
Why?
fight each other coming up.
Yep. They wouldn't do this. And they take on Hook, Rob Van Dam. You're making sense. And Hangman, who I get because Hangman came out to save Hook when Samoa Joe was beating him up. So those pairings make sense. But Samoa Joe with Swerve Strickland and Brian Cage didn't make no fucking sense.
None at all.
And look, if you want Samoa Joe to be like the stands over everyone looking cool, just put in one of the Gates of Agony guys, Gates of Agony 1, Swerve, and Brian Cage versus Hook, Rob Van Dam, Hangman. Put Samoa Joe on commentary. Swerve bumps into him. He takes the headset off. I'm fucking running through everyone. Rear
Have him
chokes.
be the
rear
special guest referee for this match
Yeah.
that you just had.
Yeah, even that. And just, he could even do the rock slow
Because then it's
count,
Mogul Embassy. That makes sense. And it's Hangman and a
Yep.
couple of friends that he found, right? His ragtag bunch of ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which they have all helped each other, right? So they are
Right.
friends.
Well, exactly. And they
maybe
are a
not
bit
best
of the,
friends.
like, they're, I don't want to say necessarily outcast, but they're also not the, like, they're the kind of the lone wolf kind of guys, right? They don't
Yes.
run in groups and packs and stuff. So that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So we get some fun
You
stuff
would
here.
catch all of them smoking weed out back behind the building. You know what I mean?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. With all three different types of highs, right?
Yeah. And I'm saying, like,
Hook would,
please invite me, but, like,
but Hook would just sit there staring, not really saying much. Rob Van Dam would tell you about some conspiracy theory in 1961. And then Hangman would be demanding that someone get him a shot because this weed has a bad taste in his mouth. What the fuck is this shit? I like being high, but I hate going
like,
through
listen,
this.
guys,
you know?
like, I don't hate this, but, like, I'd much rather you guys brought some beer with you.
Yeah.
Look, I can't give this to my horse.
Right. Yeah. So the
I
match
don't know, this stuff
ends
makes
with
me
some-
anxious, and you know how I get when I get anxious. I'm paranoid. Yeah, let's just get Hangman's a paranoid high. That would be a good, fun storyline to run
Wouldn't
through.
hate that.
Somebody
Wouldn't
keeps
hate
getting him
that.
high, and he's just like super paranoid.
God
Scared of
damn it!
everything.
Why do I keep
The
doing
anxious
this?
millennial cowboy.
Yeah, it would make sense. The match ends with Samoa Joe submitting RVD because someone had to take the pinfall submission loss, and RVD
Be
makes
the
sense.
40-year-old dude.
Now, here's the thing. I don't want to know if it's real or fake because, again, Fightful Select has to get the real word. Fuck you, assholes. But Hangman at the end is grabbing his ankle and is telling the camera guy, stop shooting me. He goes, stop shooting me. Stop shooting me. Stop it. Go away. And they're like, okay. And then they go back. He's like, stop. And he's holding his ankle like he broke it. Now, Fightful Select, and again, because of a suggested post, which I fucking hate, said that actually nothing was bad. He's just a good actor, which fucking don't ruin it.
Yeah, don't
ruin it.
Yeah, you could have
You
let us.
assholes.
Yeah, you could have let us play that out next week, but no.
I don't want to end this podcast on such a negative note, but it's that wrestling fan that I can't stand. You know, actually, Daniel Garcia's dad lives in upstate New York. Fuck you.
It's his
Stop it.
stepfather who died when
Yeah,
he
it's
was,
his stepdad that died in 1998. Christian Cage is in his fucking name. So why are we acting like facts matter? You assholes. God, it's so dumb. Ooh, Hangman's actually not hurt. Well, that fucking ruined it for me.
Well,
now,
thanks,
now next week when he's in a walking boot, I'm going to be like, well, is Adam Cole even hurt? It's all fake.
At least now my brain hurts, so thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. So I'm supposed to treat Hangman that I know that it's not a real injury, but I should act like it's a real injury. But then Adam Cole is a real injury, but then I need to still treat it like it's a real injury. Like the fucking mental gymnastics you fucking lesser thans have to go through to make this fucking enjoyable for yourselves is just mind-numbingly stupid. Like, I can't get how you guys fucking think you're so cool to know the facts. Guess what? Daniel Garcia and Adam Copeland were actually roommates in the 2000s. Shut the fuck up, idiots. Like, God, it's the right. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I do get what you're saying, and I agree with you. And so everything we said earlier about reaching out to us via using aewrapup@gmail.com or hitting us up on the threads, which you can find the link on allelitewrapup.com, pertains to you unless you're coming with shit like that Tom just said. Then we don't.
I want you
to.
Look, one of my favorite moments in Spanish Announce Table history was the debate of is pro wrestling a sport. I loved it.
Pro wrestling
I know
sport
some
is
people,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I know some people got really fucking mad. I love
Well, that's fine. But like,
Yeah.
you don't need to tell us like, well, actually Daniel Garcia's dad is dead or whatever. Like, I mean, feel free to tell us, but
Right.
is what it is.
But if you want to debate me, brother or sister, bring it on. I love to be right. And
the
I
best
told
story
you,
I think we
big
ever
brain.
got was opening the door to Roddy Piper looking to buy some cocaine from their dad.
That was the best.
The best story. And we've gotten some good road stories from wrestlers and stuff, but that might have taken the cake in the old Spanish Announce Table days. And here's another thing. So do all that stuff. Hit us up next week so we can talk about this next week, which sounds like it'll just be me. It sounds like Tom will be out.
I'm in New Orleans.
Get your picks in for Revolution, and to also end on a fun, positive note, like Tom said, we should end with something that will undoubtedly make everyone else smile, like it has made us smile so recently the last couple of weeks, is a reminder that the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl.